You made a very smart move to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, coming to you from our beautiful studios, because we have a man, Ted Karras, unbelievably talented football player, incredible human being. Not only is he the quarterback of the offensive line and get every snap going with his snapping of the football for the quarterback. He and the quarterback, the only two guys that handle the football every single snap. This guy is the Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, as voted on by the fans. He just got $35,000 to help his charity, the Village of Marici. I mean, it's an unbelievable story. Cincy Hats, $1.2 million sold. Get on board. Cincy Hats, it's big. We talked with Ted about his charities, his involvement in those charities, involvement with the Ken Anderson Alliance, Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, and Gerard Mayo, the new head coach. Talk about that. Talk about the offensive line, how all five guys started every game this year and what that meant to the Cincinnati Bengals. We talk football. We talk life. We talk with Ted Karras. It's all good. Good move by you. Welcome once again to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always, coming to you from our outstanding studios. And to match the studios, we've got an outstanding guest. Not only a tremendous football player, but just an unbelievable human being in every sense of the word. We're talking about Ted Karras, and the Walter Payton Man of the Year winner, as voted on by the fans. Who Dey Nation got behind Ted Karras and what he's doing and voted him the Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. $35,000 was the prize for that. Totally phenomenal. You're a hell of a guy, Ted Karras. What was your feeling when you heard you had won?
Well, first off, Dave, thanks for having me back in the trenches here.
Yes,
obviously,
yes,
this
sir.
is one of my favorite shows to be on. Glad to see you. But if we can take one main takeaway from being in the trenches today, it'd be me saying thank you to the Cincinnati base, Who Dey Nation, this whole community, the way that they've shown up and shown out for the Cincy Hat project from the very beginning. Has been unbelievably special. And I see you rocking your hat.
There you go, baby.
But to vote over 2.4 million times, I mean, really, really special stuff from this fan base. So there'll be some big thank you events coming this spring. I hope that we can win the entire award because that's a $250,000 to the charity. So that would essentially help pay for the entirety of the new campus of Village of Marici. So we'd be extremely thankful. It's when the fans want. The fans have spoken, and this community, I mean, down the line, from top to bottom, has been unbelievably supportive. So we're going to show our love back this spring. That's awesome, Ted.
Did you hit the $1 million mark on your hats, Cincy Hats? I mean, have you hit that number?
We did. We're at like 1.2 now.
Wow.
Yeah, from November to November 22 to January 24, the $1.2 million in sales. Thank you, Cincinnati. Everyone who's adopted these hats. It's really special.
That's phenomenal. Where can they get the hat? How can they get involved with what you're doing, Ted? It's unbelievable what you're doing. How can everybody get involved?
So we have a few places that you can get the hats now, but mostly the how we started it was, and we have all of our new stuff always on the website at thecincyhat.com. But there's also places around town. We're starting a whole new retail division. There'll be unique hats per store. An exciting one we have is called Lemons and Limes, a little boutique store.
Nice.
They carry a bunch of Cincy hats. I hope that we can get into some golf courses. We've been talking with Makatiwa Golf Course to get that hat going. So there's a lot of exciting places. We're going to be around town. We're going to be at different pubs and bars with the FC stuff and the red stuff. It's going to be a really exciting year. season 3 of Cincy Hat incoming. We're going to do a lot of cool new stuff. So stay on the lookout.
It's going to explode, man. Cincy Hat's going to be an explosion. It's going to be everywhere. Talk about your partnership that is becoming even a bigger partnership with the Ken Anderson Alliance a little bit.
Yeah, so this is so exciting. And, when I first met Ken, it was so shocking to me, not shocking, but fortunate that we share the same mission, and that's right. Caring for adults with developmental disabilities. And, the Ken Anderson Alliance has been working hard for a number of years to try and bring a living facility to the Cincinnati community. And right. Now we're in a place that I can partner up and help bring that happen and help make that happen. And that's what we're going to be working towards now, throughout this next year. It's really exciting. It's going to be a gem of the city, what we have in the works, but I can't say too much, but really just know from the macro level, me and Kenny Anderson are partnered up. We're going to bring an independent living style facility here to Cincinnati for adults with Down syndrome, autism, and any developmental disability.
Kenny Anderson's one of my good buds. We were roommates for 8 years together with the Cincinnati Bengals, and all I can say is Ken Anderson, Ted Karras, 1 + 1 = 3. We're talking synergy there. We're talking it's a hell of a lot more than 2. You two guys together, man, nothing will stop you. I'm feel very, very confident about that. It's going to be awesome.
I've been trying to push a tagline that I don't know if anyone wants to adopt yet, but 2 eras, 1 mission. But
I like that. Yeah. I like that. That's good, Ted. Very good, man. Multi-talented Ted Karras, no question. All right, so that's unbelievable what you're doing from a community standpoint, and again, it just shows the kind of person you are. Football is what a platform, and you're taking that platform and using it to the best possible scenario and level that you possibly can, and to be commended for that, my man. All of that is unbelievable. Not just the great football player, but the great human being, and using the game of football as a platform to help others is phenomenal. And you're doing it as well or better than anyone. And kudos and credit to you, my man.
Well, thank you so much. And it's just, NFL's not a very long time to play, and feel very grateful that we've been able to turn, playing this sport that I've dreamed of my whole life into, real brick and mortar change and service into an underserved need. So I'll never take that for granted, take it very seriously. And it's really exciting, the things that we got in the works.
Also, want to make mention, you and your lovely wife expecting first child. I mean, Ted Karras, husband, father, that's even bigger than big.
No, baby's number 1 here and coming up. So we got, it's a huge blessing. Everything, my wife is doing great, and it's kind of a great time to have the child too. We're April, right before we start the spring, and I'll be able to be dad for a couple months, and really looking forward to that. Such a blessing. I'm a little nervous. There's some anxiety that comes along with that, but feeling great. Mom's doing great, and we have a little baby girl, April 4th.
Really, baby girl, that is awesome. You're going to be an unbelievable father. Fatherhood is life-changing. There's no question about that, and you are going to love it, and you're going to excel in that as well, my man. There's no question.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited. I've been reading books. We've been getting the nursery ready. That's what I'll be doing today too, helping out with that.
That's awesome. That's great. All right, so I got to ask you about the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick. What the heck? What was your reaction when you heard Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft were parting ways? What was your first thought?
Well, my first thought is gratitude to Bill. Bill gave me 3 different shots to be on his team. Spent two different stints there. I think Bill's probably the greatest coach ever to do it. And, I think when you look at football, in the business of professional football, it is a what have you done for me lately business. And even if you're Bill Belichick with all of the laurels and championships that you have, you throw two not as good years out in a row and the league moves on. So I think that's not a warning, but just an observation that a lot of players have to have. This is, you have to perform at your best every single moment to survive in this league. And, even the great Bill Belichick, sometimes people move on from him. So, we are, kind of a mercenary aspect of football. You're paid to do a job. And if it's not what the people that are hiring you want, then you're looking for one. So I know that he'll land on his feet. I'm sure he wants to go get that record. So he's got 15 wins to go. He could smack that out in a season, but it'll probably but rooting for him wherever he goes. Luckily we don't have any openings in the AFC North.
Talking about approach to football and what it takes to be successful, Jake Browning talked about how you got everybody in the right mindset for the Cleveland game after the bitterly disappointing Pittsburgh loss. It's like, Jake's like, I got over it faster than I would have because I just watched Ted. I watched how Ted showed up right away, getting ready for Cleveland, energy, enthusiasm, professionalism. He said, Ted Karras is special, man. You take great pride in that, don't you?
I do take a lot of pride in that. And I think that's one of my favorite aspects about football is there's a next game to be played. You can't dwell on an unsuccessful game too long, else it's going to bleed into the next one. And, we have guys that are made of the right stuff. And I get a lot of credit for stuff like that, but that's just kind of how I've always rolled in football. And it's a testament to this, front office and the way this organization is run with the guys that we have in. I mean, we had to go out and do that. We knew Cleveland wasn't going to be playing their starters. Big deal. Well, honestly, that puts the pressure on. I mean, you got to go out there and handle your business. And I think, we did, and ended 2023 on a positive note, on a year that was, up and down, and ultimately didn't make the playoffs. Started the new year with a win, and everyone felt good, felt as good as you can be being out of the dance, but leaving with a victory, feeling good that you performed your best to finish the year.
I meant to ask you too, Jared Mayo has been named the head coach of the New England Patriots. You obviously know him. What do you think? Is that a good hire? What are your expectations for Mayo as a head coach?
Well, I think they made a great choice. I was with Mayo when I went back in 2021, and he is a great leader of men. I think he's got the respect of that whole building, that whole, market. He was a legend there. I think they're going to do a great job. One thing you don't want to do is just completely scrap the last 24 years.
Right.
I know that it didn't end, the way that everyone assumed that it might, but, there's a lot of great culture and organizational groundwork that have been put up through 24 years of being at the top of the league. So I think it's a really good choice to keep Mayo in the building, keep a guy that knows how to operate in Foxborough. And I'm sure he'll make some, new changes. That's his prerogative as the new head coach, and kind of maybe update, some of the things that he feels, maybe need to be updated. So I'm really excited for him. The Patriots are always going to be dangerous when Robert Kraft is the owner. He's not going to take a losing ball club. He's not going to have that in his portfolio. So I'm wishing him the best. They get to come to Cincinnati, so we'll hopefully welcome him into the league as a head coach.
There you go. Love it. Ted, something as a former offensive lineman that was really impressive to me. Every member, all 5 starters in the offensive line this year, answered the bell every single game. And that's not something to take lightly, because guys could have tapped out. Guys, said, I got this injury, this is nagging, but not this group. This group, it's all for one, man, and one for all. That's the deal. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. How special is this offensive line, Ted?
I think it's a testament to this group's toughness and willingness to go out there and do what they need to do to help this team win. I think it also speaks to how Zach takes care of his players. We have a couple older guys on the O-line and throughout the team. And really, I think, since I've been here, the 2 seasons I've been here, knock on wood, we've had decent health, especially in the trenches. I know there's always a couple 1 or 2 one-offs, and that's the nature of this business. But, the toughness of this unit and the way that this staff takes care of the players, I think bodes really well for us as we get into the later parts of the season, when you have to play your best when it counts the most.
It's everybody gets close, and the offensive line is probably on every team, I would think. Every team that I played with, the offensive line was probably the closest unit in terms of position group, on the football team. And unfortunately, nature of the beast in the National Football League, it doesn't stay intact year to year necessarily. And the biggest question is Jonah. Will Jonah be moving on? Will Jonah be back as a Cincinnati Bengal? I have a lot of respect for Jonah Williams and what he's done for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sure you do too.
I do. I mean, I think Jonah's a fantastic player, an amazing friend, and a great young father, and really set himself up nicely to either return here or make his way as a free agent in this league. So there's not many guys in the tackle class. I think him switching to right not only really helped this team, but also helped his personal resume. And you never know what's going to happen. This is there's a certain insecure feeling about the NFL offseason. You got the draft, you got free agency, everyone's getting evaluated for how they performed in 2023. And, the team is going to look different. And that's just the reality of the National Football League. And guys are going to go to different teams, and we're going to get some new guys here. So I'm wishing Jonah the best. I hope he comes back. That would be amazing. But if not, I know that he'll, find a situation that's very great for him and his family, and for, setting himself up financially for life beyond football. So Jonah Williams is a great guy. Hope we can bring him back. We'll see.
Quarterback position is so important in the National Football League. Joe Burrow's elite. Jake Browning stepped up and showed that he was ready to take advantage of an opportunity that presented itself to him. He feels like he's one of the best 32 in the NFL right now, and rightfully so. I can understand why. But if that's not the case, heck, he's number 33. You are elite as a starter at quarterback with Joe Burrow, and elite as a backup with Jake Browning as a quarterback. How comforting is that for an offensive lineman?
It's great. I mean, I'm so proud of Jake for what he was able to accomplish this year, going 4-3, keeping us in the playoff hunt. We came a game short. It is what it is. That was the destiny of the 2023 Bengals. Now we're going to make sure that never happens again. But I think Jake set himself up, to have a really nice long career in this league, proven he can be a starter, go out there and win games for his football team. I hope he never has to play again while I'm in my tenure with the Bengals. But, the way he stepped up and the security that he provides this organization is very valuable. And I'm sure many other teams across this league would want him as their starter and want him in the building. So really proud of Jake for what he accomplished and how he led this unit and this team.
No question about it. I mean, he definitely stepped up. But you look at it, when Joe's able to go and stay healthy, you go to the Super Bowl, you go to the AFC Championship game, the 2 seasons that's the case. So that's the key, somehow keeping number 9, healthy as best possible. And it's freak injuries, it's crazy stuff. Hopefully the football gods are saying that's enough and leave him alone for a while.
Enough. I know. Let's get you through training camp. Yeah.
No doubt. No question about it. So when you look at it, Ted, this football team is elite. I mean, when healthy, this football team is as good as there is in the National Football League. Unfortunately, this offseason is going to start a little earlier than it has the past couple of off seasons. How does that change your approach from like last offseason, how you attacked it, and this offseason with a little bit more time to attack it?
Well, we're going to make sure this never happens again. We don't want to be early outs. We want to have a shot at the championship, and that's what we're here to do.
Yep.
So that's obviously a disappointing end. Fought hard to the end, but not good enough. As far as how we're going to approach this offseason, I think everyone will take a break. I've taken this week off. I'm going to start getting into some lighter stuff this week. Heading down to Florida, we'll start training right away. And then, really, once that Super Bowl Monday is really get serious time. We've had our chance to get our bodies back. You can even start before that. I will start a little bit before that, but it's talking about really putting some serious weight on the bar, really starting the program. That gives you about 8-10 weeks before the spring starts. I mean, that's a full off-season program that you can program for yourself. So I know the guys are going to be taking it seriously. Everyone take a mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual break from football. I mean, that's one of the biggest wears on your body is, competitive stamina. You have to come into work every day knowing that someone's trying to beat you and you have to beat them. So I think that's very valuable to take some time away from that and recharge yourself because we have a huge 2024 campaign in the works.
We talked about how there's player movement. It's never the same roster from one year to the next. I mean, that's life in the National Football League. The coaching staff for Zach Taylor, though, in his 5-year tenure has been intact all 5 years. But it looks like this year might be a little bit different. I mean, Brian Callahan, as we speak, he's interviewing with the Tennessee Titans, and he's got like 4 other potential interviews, I guess. And there are coaches that have proven what they can do in the National Football League and graduating to head coaching opportunities and assistants graduating to coordinator jobs. So the coaching staff may not come back fully intact, but that's a testament to success. I mean, the Bengals 3 straight winning seasons and in handling this season, having to play 2 quarterbacks. I mean, that's a byproduct of success, right?
I think any team would be lucky to get Brian Callahan. I mean, he's been such a pleasure to work with, not only from our offense is very productive, but from a center standpoint and offensive line standpoint, the relationship we had with him, they really put us in positions to succeed and put together some great plans. And when we've executed them, to the highest level, we feel like we could be unstoppable. And, that is what it is. I think any team would be very fortunate to get Brian Callahan. It's always a good sign when people are trying to poach your coaches. That means the organization's doing the right thing. And I'd be really excited for him to get that job. Maybe you would take some heat off me from the Tennessee fan base because we got to go down there again this year.
Oh, that's right. There's a special love going on there, right? A little love.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's great. That's classic. Well, I'll tell you, Ted, it was if there's always, I always looked at every season that when I sat back and thought about it and reviewed it, I always learned something. There was always a lesson learned for me individually from every single season. I don't know if you do that specifically, but if you, and I know I'm throwing something at you that you haven't had time to contemplate or think about, but as you look back on this season, which I'm sure you have had time to do it a little bit, is there something that jumps out at you? Is there a big lesson that was learned during the course of this football season for you personally?
I think 2 years in a row, here'd be my take on that. 2 years in a row, we have not started very well. If we can put ourselves in the mix from the jump and not have to be, playing from behind as far as the record and standings go, we'll be much better served going into where we shine in December and January football. So, that's going to be, individual guys have to prepare themselves for that. Obviously, the coaches, I know they're probably thinking the same thing. So I'm sure we'll make some adjustments in order to go those first 3 weeks, not putting ourselves in a position down in the division to have to crawl our way out of it.
Couldn't agree with you more. I think that that says it all. And with that said, want to thank you and appreciate you giving us the time that you've given us, Ted Karras. Not just this podcast, but other podcasts. You're a insightful, intelligent, professional football player, no question about that, and a great leader of men. You have the trust and respect of your teammates, your coaches, everybody in the organization, and that's a big deal, and it's well earned and well deserved, my man. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much, Dave. Thanks for having me on. We'll do a little spring preview in the trenches, getting it going here in a couple months. I hope you can take some time off too. Enjoy a little off season. And again, just want to finish with thank you, Cincinnati, for all this support. It means the world to the village, and really excited to kind of tailor this in to bringing something to this community with Ken Anderson. So can't thank you enough. Who Dey. Hope everyone has a great off season.
Who Dey. I'm heading to Florida like you, my man. I'm going to take a week down in Florida to get some fun in the sun.
There we go.
There we go. You're the best, Ted Karras. Have the best off season you've ever had, my man.
Will do.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.